The Seahawks win their Week 1 game 28-16 in a game where the score is relatively close, but really was not that close in general. The Seahawks played amazing while the Colts had a very, very rough time. We are back with the review of this game, and we're going to hop straight into the Seahawks side of the ball before we get to the Colts. Yes, I am on the ESPN app on my Xbox. I'm ghetto. Don't worry about it, man. It is what it is. We just got to roll with it. First thing being Shane Waldron. This is the first time we really got to see him, call some plays for us, some meaningful plays. And the man was amazing. There was some specific things that really stuck out that were awesome to finally see. Some screens. The Seahawks have always been horrendous. Not all, I shouldn't say always, but they've just been, over the past couple of years, they have been terrible with screens. Their screens have been awful, man. There was, I think, there was one that got called back where Gerald Everett had like a 15-yard screen, little tight end screen. There was another one where Gerald Everett did catch it and it went for like 10. The quick little passes to either Tyler or D. Eskridge were nice. Even the end arounds, D. Eskridge had 2 end arounds, which was good to see. Little jet sweeps. They had a 13-yarder, as you see on the screen there, which is good to see. It just looked a lot more fluid, quick, and you still had Russell being Russell, where he's doing these long play actions and just throwing absolute nukes to Tyler. Which I said, who's going to guard DK? But I guess I also should have said, who's going to guard DK and Tyler? Because both of them had great games. Great games for both of them. Russell played amazing. I mean, he only completed 5 passes. He had 4 touchdowns. I mean, you really can't fault the man too much there. And he had a couple rushes. He had an 11-yard rush that I believe was on like a 3rd and 9 pretty early in the game, which is very crucial. So that's good to see. Tyler and DK are going to be a problem this year. I mean, they were a problem last year. They're going to be a problem this year. That duo is so good, man. And so many people sleep on Tyler Lockett. I mean, that man is a monster. The first touchdown was an insane catch. It is so hard to, you're running, you're looking over your left shoulder, and you realize you got to be looking over your right shoulder, so then you got to flip to the right. It's so hard to, locate the ball like that again, especially when his head's way back like it was. So great catch there. And I also feel like Russell threw that on purpose because the safety was on his left shoulder, so he threw it to the right in that little pocket there and just dropped it absolute dime. It was a good play by both of them. D. Eskridge did get injured on one of those jet sweeps. I think it was on that 13-yarder that he got, too. Just came flying around, hit his head. It definitely looked like he had a concussion. I don't think he got knocked out cold, but you could definitely tell immediately that he'll be having a concussion. Will be in concussion protocol. Hopefully, he'll be available next week. Because those jet sweeps are crucial. Freddie Swain even got a nice little jet sweep for 5 yards. So Freddie can do it, but definitely not as quick as D. Eskridge looked out there. So hopefully that's okay. Kyle Fuller and Postic. Kyle Fuller did start at center, like I thought would happen. But they did rotate drives here and there, and there was one drive. I want to say it was either second or third quarter. I think it was the third quarter, honestly, where Postic came in, and I'm pretty sure the Colts only had 3 sacks, and they got 2 back-to-back sacks when Postic was in. One, DeForest Buckner. Like I said, if the Colts were gonna win this game, DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart had to, dominate the middle and really disrupt the pass. And once Postic came in, DeForest Buckner just flew right by him, just pushed him to the side, flew right by him, got a sack, and then I believe the following play after that, they got another sack, and then the Seahawks had the punt. Postic did get a little knee sprain there, so Kyle Fuller finished it out. But I think Kyle Fuller played a way, way, way better game than Ethan Postic, and there should be no rotation next week. Next week at home against the Titans, there should be no rotation between Kyle Fuller and Postic. Postic's got a knee sprain as well. Kyle Fuller is the center. He's got to be the guy. I think he played amazing. I mean, really, when he was in the starting lineup, I believe they only had 1 sack. The 2 out of the 3 were when Postic was out there. So he's got to stay out there. The man played a great game today. And moving to the defensive line, I told you guys the defensive line is very deep. They have a lot of depth. They don't really have like crazy star power, but they can rotate a lot and keep guys fresh out there, so they're always constantly running. They had 3 sacks today. probably should have had a few more. There was a couple, like there was that one, like 4th and 2 or whatever, where Darrell Taylor just crushed Carson Wentz, but he threw it the last possible second when he was throwing. I mean, you might as well count that as a sack. There was a couple times like that. Carson was getting hit non-stop. I mean, our defensive line created absolute havoc out there, and that's something we really, really need, because we had the blitz a lot last season. Jamal had to get in there and cause get a lot of sacks for us to get pressure. So if our front guys can start getting consistent pressure like that, it's just going to make this defense even better. Which moves on to the Colts side of the ball. Carson Wentz. Not a good game for Carson Wentz. He had a QBR of 26.5, and he also had a fumble on 4th down, which was, I mean, he just like dropped it basically. I don't even know. It was just I guess, I don't know. I guess you could put it on the center. I mean, you could put it on him, but I mean, come on. They both got to figure that out. And he dropped it on a crucial 4th down for the Colts there, which led to a turnover and the Seahawks getting the ball back. I mean, to Carson's credit, he did get hit nonstop. He really did. But I think he definitely could have played much better. 12 of his 25 completions were to running backs. And I think it was clear that the Seahawks were kind of locking up everything in the back end. I mean, Zach Pascal did have 2 touchdowns, but they were kind of, you know, one was like a 10-yarder and the other one was like what, like a 14-yard or 16-yarder or something. Like, they were both pretty short touchdowns. I just don't think 25. You might as well count it as half. Half of your completions are to your running backs. Like, I just don't think that's really a recipe. A good recipe. You don't want that. You need a wide receiver one to demand targets, to, you know, have coverage go over there. So like, say Seattle comes in, they're like, oh, Michael Pittman's having a great season. You know, we really got to focus on shutting him down. There's no one on that for the Colts. I mean, yeah, Pascal got 2 touchdowns, but I mean, if you look at them, I mean, Pascal had 5 targets, 4 for 43. I mean, that's nothing too crazy. Pittman, 3 for 29. They had their rookie, 2 for 26. Parrish only caught 1 catch for 24 yards. Jack Doyle, 3 catches for 21 yards. I mean, Molly Cox had 2 targets, couldn't even catch a pass. They need someone to demand the targets. I mean, on the Seahawks side, you have Tyler, 4 for 102, and DK, 4 for 60 and 1, both with 5 targets each. I mean, then people are going to really focus on those 2, and then you can have, you know, the guys either coming across the middle, or you can run it because you got, you know, you're more focused out wide. It's just someone has to step up for the Colts this season, especially with T.Y. being gone. Someone has to do it. I'm predicting it'll be Michael Pittman. Maybe Zach has a good game next week. I think the Colts play the Rams next week, so that's going to be a very tough game for the Colts to play. I mean, if they struggle against the Seahawks defense, they are definitely going to struggle against the Rams defense. So they need to do better. They can't just spam screens. I mean, they did spam screens, but they really didn't do much on offense with it. They got to involve some more people, and one of those wide receivers has to break out and just do something. Be better. The offensive line, same thing. I mean, you can't be having guys like Quentin Nelson, their center Ryan Kelly, and what's his name, Braden Smith, their other tackle. Like, they have such a dominant offensive line. You can't let Carson get hit that much. I mean, you can't. I mean, the man, I'm surprised he didn't get hurt. I mean, he's always seems to be hurt, and you have to keep Carson upright. Or else he will get hurt, and then you're going to be rolling with Jacob Eason probably or something. So they have to protect him better. I mean, I think it was towards second or third quarter. It was just like every time Carson got the ball out, he was just getting smacked, and someone's picking him up every single time, and that can't be happening. I mean, especially with our defensive line. I mean, like I said we have depth and we have some solid players, but when the Colts play the Rams next week, if they block like how they did, I mean, Aaron Donald's going to ruin them. Aaron Donald is going to absolutely ruin them. So they have to be much, much better there. My key players review. For the Seahawks side, I said Shane Waldron had to have a good game for the offense, and he had a great opening game. Great opening game. First time I think he's ever even called plays. I mean, I know he called plays a little bit for the Rams, but nothing crazy. And I think he called a great game on offense. The second quarter, I mean, our first 4 possessions, 3 of them were touchdowns, and 1 I think was just a punt. I even said in my preview that the Seahawks have never, they hardly ever get opening first drive touchdowns. They hardly ever do it in the past couple years, ever. And what do? I mean, Indy goes all the way down, gets a field goal, and then we march all the way down, get 7, just like that. And then we get the ball again, march all the way down, get 7 again. That's something you never ever see with the Seahawks. Now the third quarter did kind of slow down a little bit. Kind of both teams changed a little bit, and the third quarter was a little bit slower. But then to put the game away, drive down, hit DK on that little post route, little slant route or something, for that nice touchdown on Kenny Moore. I mean, who was going to guard DK? I said that in the preview, and Kenny Moore is what? I think Kenny Moore's 5'9". Kenny Moore can't guard DK. DK's what, 6'4"? I think he's 6'4". I mean, Kenny Moore cannot one-on-one guard DK when he's that much bigger, stronger, taller. I mean, it literally looked like DK was playing against a high schooler out there on that touchdown pass. I mean, it was literally just the easiest catch in the world for him. Because the height difference is just way too big. He's way too much stronger than Kenny Moore, and that can't be happening. You can't. I know Kenny Moore is pretty experienced and all, but you can't leave him one-on-one with DK, and that definitely showed there. For the defensive side of the ball, I said Jamal and Quandre are going to have good games to help out our corners, and I think they played okay. I mean, there wasn't amazing games for them. I mean, Jamal had a couple plays where he could have had a tackle for loss near the red zone, but he held the guy up. JT slipped out of his hands, and then someone else got the tackle for loss. So, I mean, Jamal kind of caused that play. Quandre had one. I think it was Zach Pascal's second touchdown he got, where Quandre was kind of in the area and Pascal just got open. And I mean, they didn't have bad games. They both combined for 15 total tackles together. So they had, they played pretty good. I think Quandre had one where I think it's Paris Campbell, right? As Paris Campbell caught that 24-yard pass, just Quandre absolutely leveled him. I'm surprised he even caught it. But I think they played solid, and they needed to play solid. And I think Trey Flowers really didn't have that bad of a game. I mean, he really didn't. There wasn't any big plays. Same with DJ Reid. DJ Reid even recovered the fumble somehow in that Carson Wentz fumble. But I don't think DJ Reid really played that bad at all. I mean, the defense as a whole played fine. I mean, you allowed 16 points, and one was, I mean, you could basically call it a garbage time touchdown. It was 28-10 with 4 minutes left when they scored the touchdown. So that, I mean, it's kind of meaningless at that point. I think they played great on defense. Moving to the Colts side, I said Carson Wentz was going to have a great game for him to win. He was poor. The offensive line was poor. The receivers didn't really they need to make more plays, especially that's the Seahawks' weakness right now is their corners, and they need to make plays against those corners. And I mean, maybe Zach Pascal made a couple plays, got a couple touchdowns, but you got to have more. You can't be having 50% of your completions being the running backs. I mean, you can't just be a check down. You got to open it up and try some things downfield a little bit. But Carson's got to be better. I mean, you can't be winning games with a 26.5 QBR there. It's just got to be much better. The defensive side for the Colts, I said that Grover Stewart and D-Buck are going to have big games, and D-Buck made some plays. I mean, he had that one sack. Like I said, when Ethan Posick came in, the defensive line for the Colts was kind of dominating. So thank God Kyle Fuller stayed, because Kyle Fuller was having a great game, and he needed to stay out there. Kyle Fuller needed to stay out there and help dominate. And once Posick comes in, what do you know? DeForest Buckner just throws him to the side, gets a sack. That's why Posick's up out of there and Kyle Fuller's staying. But all in all, I mean, great game for the Seattle Seahawks. They are 1-0 on the road. Everyone in the division at the time of this recording, I believe the Rams are winning when I'm recording this, but they are all 1-0. Everyone's 1-0. This division is going to be difficult, so these tough away games are very crucial for the Seahawks. Let me know if you guys want to see more of this or see other game reviews. I can do that if you guys are interested in that. I enjoy making these, so I probably will be making another review and game preview for the Week 2 game when the Seahawks face the Titans at home. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you guys thought about that game, and I'll see you guys in the next one.